Hey guys, Speedster here, and today we're going to talk about 10 things that you can do before the TBC pre-patch. TBC pre-patch is almost here, and if you're not doing any of these 10 things right now, you're going to waste gold, time, and momentum on the launch. So we're just going to do real prep that actually matters, and I'm going to go through some things that maybe people aren't talking about. So come check it out, like and subscribe. Let's get right down to it. This video is for classic players heading into Burning Crusade Anniversary who want a smooth, fun launch. Maybe they're not panic leveling, they're not just being broke, and they're not re-rolling in the first week. Guys, the number one thing I'm going to start with is picking your main in TBC, okay? You don't want to jump around and not have your main settled in. Now, why is this such a big thing? Well, a lot of people are coming into my chat. They're talking about what should I play for TBC? What class is good, etc. Now, I definitely suggest picking your main now and figuring it out before the pre-patch, and we're going to get to why. But I would go watch some class guides. I would go on the TBC PTR and mess around a little bit. I would maybe try some different classes leveling up and see what you feel. Maybe watch some people play Arena or Raid on YouTube and see what would be your preference and your favorite play style. You need to invest in your main, okay? Because everything's going to be alt-friendly attunements, so you need to go hard with your main. You're going to have to farm rep to revered and do all of your cares in. SSCTK attunements, all of those sorts of things. You definitely want to pick your main and not be indecisive on week one and not know where to go. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is leveling your professions to 300, and this is a big one. Professions in TBC aren't optional, they're mandatory. You need to do this because it's going to be very important to get these up before all the prices skyrocket. People are going to start leveling jewel crafting, blacksmithing, engineering, leatherworking, alchemy, everything in the pre-patch for their new tunes, for their alts, for their mains, coming back with new boosted characters, having to level professions. So I definitely suggest getting that done ASAP. Now, if you wait, you're going to waste a lot of gold and some time. Maybe you're trying to gather and level your herbalism to 300, and the open world is a lot, and it's taking a lot of time out of your day with more competition. Now, here's a little tidbit. If you want to level mining, I would definitely suggest doing that in the pre-patch. You can smelt ore from 1 to like 280, so that's a nice little tip for you. But I would definitely suggest leveling your professions now and getting them to 300. You don't have to worry about it later, okay, on your main, especially if you're not maining a Blood Elf or a Draenei. So I would get those professions before things get too expensive. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is farming gold. Farming gold before the pre-patch and before TBC to prepare, because all the mats are going to skyrocket on the auction house. Things are going to get expensive. You don't want to waste your gold because you want enough to get epic flyer right when you hit level 70 on your main, okay? This is why the main thing is your epic flyer. Look at the difference of the speed with this epic flyer, okay? We are on the PTR right now. This is the difference. We are going 280 speed right now, and I'm gonna drop down and show you the difference between a 280 speed and a 60% speed. And a big reason why this is helpful is because if you have a 60% mount, you're gonna be much slower in trying to farm. It is going to be so different. It's gonna be so hard to go back and quest. Let's say you're leveling in dungeons with your buddies, and then you go back and do the quest. You're gonna want your epic flyer, and then you can make up that money by going back and doing the quests at level 70. That is a really good tip because a lot of people forget about that. So I definitely suggest trying to get at least like 2 or 3k gold, and then right when you hit 70, you can pretty much buy your epic flyer. Maybe you don't do all of your quests, but you do some and you level mostly in dungeons. You're gonna be pretty close when you hit level 70, and then that way you can go back and quest and make up that gold, and maybe use that gold to level your professions to 350 and start on your crafting items, because those are very important. A lot of gold is front loaded in TBC. You need to get those crafting items very early for your pre-bis, and you want to do a lot of damage. But down the line in TBC, gold doesn't matter as much. So I would say in the beginning, you want to front load these things and try to get ahead of that. The next thing we're going to talk about is Blood Elf and Draenei. If you want to level a Blood Elf or a Draenei, you need to prepare some things. You don't want to just go in willy-nilly leveling with no plan at all. What would I do to prepare for my Blood Elf or my Draenei, guys? I would get boots with minor speed on it. I would get greens and blues with fiery enchants. I would get some weapon and armor progressions. I would get some cheap consumables because we don't know how long we have, and it's going to make for a better time. It's not just about speed. I think when you have some twink items or you have some decent blue items, it's going to help make for a better experience. You're going to have fun in the dungeons with your buddies, and it's going to be a really good time. So you don't have to go ham and spend thousands of gold, but I really do suggest buying some things on the auction house before they get it too expensive. And right when pre-patch comes out, everyone's going to be doing the same thing. I would definitely get some of that ready. Maybe have your name ready. Know what you're going to name your character. You're not sitting on your character screen. That is another little tip. The next thing I want to go over is updating your add-ons, okay? Add-ons are an important part of the game. Why are add-ons so important? You might need to delete some of those old add-ons and update with some new ones. I'm going to go over some of those in another video, like some top 10 add-ons to use in TBC, or maybe you're not using yet. A lot of new players are coming back to WoW and they don't know which add-ons to use, and I'm definitely gonna have some suggestions in another video. I would definitely delete the add-ons you don't use and download some ones. Go browse on the CurseForge app, go see what other people are doing, ask your guildies, whatever it may be, and get that prepared and ready to go. And that way you can kind of go in full force. You don't have to mess with your UI as much. And that's the next thing we're going to talk about, which is the edit mode coming to TBC. Now, edit mode is coming to TBC from retail. Okay, I never use this. I use the default WoW UI, but this helps you move stuff around if you want to mess with it. Your mini map, your chat box, your player frames, things like that. And I would practice this now. That way you're not in the pre-patch kind of just wasting time sitting around. If you do want to mess around with it and change some things, I definitely suggest doing that on the PTR and checking that out. I'm going to do that personally and maybe switch up a little bit of my UI. I would definitely update your add-ons and try this edit mode on the PTR. The next thing I would say to do, guys, is level an alt. Okay, level your alts while boosting is still alive. If you don't have any alts to level, you don't have any gold, that's another story. Maybe ask your friend. We have some guildies in our guild, for example, who are boosting people and their alts so they can save some gold and just get them up while it's still going on for the last 10 days or so, because boosting is going to go away in the pre-patch. It is not going to be the same anymore. You can't boost RFC, SFK, SM, all of these things, because the XP for lower levels will be completely diminished if any of the mobs are gray for the level 60 or 70, right? So I would definitely level some alts while boosting is active. You don't have to get it to 60, but maybe trying to get it to 40 or 50. That way you want to play another character and you want to reroll, you have that ready to go and you don't have to start from level 1. This next thing is going to be something that a lot of people don't talk about, okay? You need to find your guild. Find your group of people who you want to play with. Maybe you want to banter with them on Discord. Maybe you want to play with them hours on end in PvP, or find the right group to raid with. So I would definitely look for a guild. Now, guild and communities are super important. Sometimes they fall off in World of Warcraft Classic, and a lot of people don't have the same time as they once did. But I really do think having a guild is super important, especially on launch. Getting some dungeon groups, having people to do heroics with, having people to do attunements with, it's going to make for a better experience. And also just kind of, it's going to help you figure out what you want to play, or maybe they're going to, you know, let you play another class in another raid, and this is the place to be, and you really like playing with these folks. Now, I think guilds and communities are very underrated, and no one talks about this as much. It's going to make for a lot better times because you're going to make groups much faster, you're going to level much faster, and get geared much faster. You know, you're going to have fun with, in these hours on end, dungeon grinding, maybe leveling to 70. So the earlier you join, the faster that you can get to know people and get in that social circle and have a solid fun time for TBC Anniversary.
You were not prepared. You dare to cross the dark portal with confidence, ambition, and the belief that destiny favors you. But Outland shows mercy to no one. Before you reach my gates, there will be trials that await you, as champions will burn to ash, and all hope will be shattered. I have witnessed countless adventurers attempt to fight. Their courage melted, their resolve collapsed, and their journey ended far too soon. If you believe you're ready for the challenges ahead, you will need something more than yourself. You will need a team that is worthy to face me. Call your strongest. Rally your bravest. Gather every hero you can find. Form a bond that fear cannot break. Stand with the guild forged in purpose. Only then will you leave your mark and seek your rightful fate. For they call me the betrayer, and in the end, there will be a reckoning.
The next thing I want to talk about is organizing your bags, bank, mailbox, and alts. Okay, I'm just gonna open some things now. Look at my bags, it's all over the place. This is my warrior right now. It is not prepared at all. So this is one of the things that I would do, is mess around with my bank, see what I got going. Maybe I need to delete some old quest items. Maybe I need to send some stuff to my alts to level tailoring, or see if I could buy some cheap bank slots, which I haven't even purchased yet. So I would definitely check this out. Go on Bagnon and you can kind of see what's going on. Another add-on that's very useful is Trade Skill Master TSM, and that's going to count how much cloth and stuff you have in your bag, which character it's on, which mailbox it's in. I just think going into pre-patch and going into TBC, having this all over the place is kind of a shit show, to be honest. And trying to organize your bags, you don't want boar meat and random stuff that you don't need everywhere all over. It sounds boring and dumb, but it's gonna save you time and a headache deleting things that actually matter in TBC. Maybe you have cloth and you got a level first aid. So I would definitely do that and get that prepared and checked out, especially getting bags and stuff for your blood elves and your Draenei before you're gonna level, getting some easy consumables, getting those weapons and enchants. Okay, super important. Now the next thing I'm gonna talk about is leveling your weapon skills. Leveling your weapon skills is really important. For a warrior, for example, I might change from axes to swords, or maybe to maces, and I'm just gonna hit like a wet noodle if I get a new weapon in TBC as I'm leveling, and my dungeon group's not gonna be very happy. So I definitely suggest leveling your weapon skills while you're kind of bored, doing that now while there's not much to do, kind of setting yourself up for success. You don't have to go back and do that during launch or in the pre-patch or anything like that. So I definitely think that's super important. Last but not least, I would plan your leveling group. Figure out who you want to level with, who you want to spend your time with, what kind of class combination you want for your dungeon leveling group. A lot of people will be doing that in TBC and in the pre-patch for their Blood Elves or Draenei, and it's going to make for an awesome time, because if you're going in with 2 mages, 2 warriors, and a Rested Druid, it might be a little different from like a melee cleave or a spell cleave. So I would definitely plan your leveling group. Plan when you guys are going to be on, if you're going to pre-quest, any of those details, okay? And I know I haven't put out a video in a while, but definitely come check me out. Like and subscribe. Comment what you're doing to prepare for the pre-patch in TBC, and come follow me on Twitch. My name is Speedster Taxi, and I'm almost always live every single night. So come drop a follow, show some love, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm out. Peace.